Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel where we are radically healing and transforming from narcissistic abuse cycles, getting rid of PTSD, breaking psychic ties and rebuilding our best into our most abundant best lives to live fully now, no matter how old you are, no matter what you've been through. And I want to talk about self-love, right, after narcissistic abuse, because this is so misunderstood, right? We're also shamed over this. Have you come across this, which I find extraordinary, where people will say if you've been in an abuse cycle, they should just love themselves more. Or they'll say that to you, you should just love yourself more. Yeah, so we're kind of shaming people for not, I mean, obviously, if you could love yourself more, not to have been in these cycles, you wouldn't have been in them. But this is so toxic, this attitude, oh, they just don't love themselves. Yeah? I'm telling you, in absolute truth, right? Anyone that says that to you doesn't love themselves very much. Because when you truly love yourself, you come into such a beautiful space where it's like, oh, I just want you to feel as good as I do. It's peace, it's expansion, it's total acceptance, non-judgment. It's not running from anything, it's not defending anything. It's like, oh, I just feel so authentic, so safe to be me, so loved in myself, so present, so aware, so comfortable, right? That there's no way when you actually love yourself, you'd ever shame someone else. So those people that are using this saying and a way of saying it, it's the energy behind it we feel. We're all transmitters of energy. It's not our words so much as the energy we do things in that changes our lives or keeps us in loops. Like, they don't love themselves at all. And this isn't to shame them either. It's just like throwing self-love around like it's some kind of thing wrong with you. And if it's being said by someone shaming you over it, they don't love themselves. Because when you truly love yourselves, all you want is for everyone to feel how you do. It's like a decompression. So in Sovereign, my course, but also on this channel, I teach at the beginning of it what I call self-focused and self-partnering, which is kind of a big level of self-acceptance. Because in my work, self-love is the byproduct of what I teach you in Sovereign. Self-respect, self-esteem, it's just a natural thing, even confidence. All of these things come from how much I'm willing to let myself be me. That doesn't mean I'm forcing my opinions on someone, no. It means I do things in appropriate context, but it does mean that the whole, like, I can't not be loving myself if I'm allowing myself to be me. It also means as we like completely accept everything about ourselves, right? Everything we've been through, everything that happened to us, it happened to you if you've been narcissistically abused. It's got nothing to do with you on so many levels. It should not have happened. It's not acceptable, right? But when I can accept that and not be ashamed of it, be present with it, I'm healed enough, I've processed my emotions around it, I'm not denying it. I'm not going to ever forget it. I can forgive it in the sense of letting go, but the behavior is unforgivable and I won't forget. I'm not avoiding it. I'm integrating it. It's not like I get to be reborn and then cut off pieces of me. Absolutely not. I get to be in total acceptance and non-judgment and integration with it. And therefore, we're at peace. And self-love feels like complete acceptance of myself. Now, no one is going to find it easy to accept someone else if they're not in that kind of energy with themselves. So people are like shaming you for anything, including, well, they should just go and love themselves. They've got no self-respect. That person saying that doesn't have that either. They're triggered. They're triggered. Because until I'm healed, right, what I see in you that triggers me is about what I can't hold in myself. Yeah? So to start building self-love, day one, is to start doing what I talk about, self-focus, being with how do I feel in this moment, what's going on with me, not why am I feeling it. This is the problem with psychology. You know, we're doing it the wrong way round. We've got to use our brains later when we are self-focused and self-partnered first, right? So the first thing is not working out or trying to put cause and effect or thinking on why I'm feeling it. It's like I would deal with a child. How do I feel right now? I feel like I need some air. Go and get some air. I feel like I want to lie down. Lie down. I feel like I want to eat the whole burger. Well, do it without guilt. Let yourself be you. Yeah? Self-partnering is I've got my own back. Yeah? I'm not judging myself. I'm not spending my time trying to work out why I'm feeling that way. I'll tell you why you feel anyway, right? Why? Why? It's because your subconscious has been programmed. You've got programming and you're responding to your programming. At the core level, that's what it's about. But until you get regulated and self-focused and self-partnered, there's no point looking at why. Why is not going to heal you or solve it. You've got to honor where you are first. Yeah, I'm anxious. I don't want to be in crowds. It's not about forcing yourself in crowds. It's about honoring your anxiety, processing it first, being with it very physically so it can release out the body. And then later, when you're processed and healed, you can go into, right, I understand I've got this reaction to crowds. I am regulated. I'm now living in a relationship with myself where I'm honouring where I'm at, not forcing or fixing myself out of it. I've honoured it so it can release. And now I'd like to set up belief systems, subconscious programs, new ways of behaving that actually support what I want to do. And what I'd like to do is sometimes go to a festival or a music concert. So now I've got to start reprogramming my mind. It's the last thing you do after you've dealt with the body. You can't solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created it. That's what Einstein said. And all trauma, all PTSD is a body response, not a mind one. Even the racing thoughts you have in anxiety are coming from your body firing off hormones, right? Firing off chemicals that are causing this. It's not a mind issue, it's a body one. In fact, your mind is like this computer system that assimilates data, and your subconscious mind is there to help you do things on autopilot, like drive the car. Yeah? But we're supposed to actually program our minds to support what we want to experience in our lives, not let our minds run the show. So we've not been taught how to be integrated, how to actually deal with our multidimensional selves, our spiritual selves. And if you go against your soul, you're going to feel it on every level of your being. When you're with the narcissist, you're breaking every spiritual vow you've got and you feel it, right? So we can't ignore any of this. And it's actually our soul, our spiritual essence, our intuition that will actually guide us into the most abundant future. When you're in such a terrible situation and you want real love, it's not that that's unhealthy. You haven't got to analyze your way out of that. That means love is where your soul wants to go. But now you've got to learn something. You've got to heal something, process it. Healing is just processing and letting go. To a large extent. Forgiveness is just, I set us all free. I stop analysing this, I stop working it out, I set us both free. You go to your good, I go to mine, and now I come into myself. Self-focused, self-partnered, self-sourcing, and later self-invested, which is like, what is my legacy in this world, right? Legacy can just be your family. It's not what you think of as having to be great. There's no judgment here, it's what's my truth. But first thing, you've got to come into yourself. Ellie wants to go home, she goes home. Ellie doesn't feel okay here. I just need to know I'm uncomfortable. I haven't got to even have the word for the emotion. If I can start self-focusing and self-partnering tiny ways every day, the whole world starts easing up because now I'm not fighting my body. The biggest problem about how we're dealing with our minds is our resistance to how we're thinking and feeling. It's not just that you're angry that you're angry. It's not just that you're angry that you're anxious. So you're compounding all this stuff, all this resistance, rather than letting your body just be. Your body is meant to process emotions like you poop and pee. But if we get in the way by using our mind and creating resistance to everything we are, everything we feel, which is our whole experience of life, then there's a whole problem that we're compounding. And in trauma, it's doing that anyway. We're in a combusted system, and now we're compounding more resistance to it. I'm angry that I feel anxious because I want to stay in the grocery store. No, I don't need to add anger to that. I need to leave. I need to treat myself like the 7-year-old girl or the 4-year-old girl or boy and just self-partner. Stop analysing and stop resisting, and everything starts breaking free. Yeah? That's where we start. Now, when you start doing that and then coming into and living in integrity with your standards, values and boundaries intact, you automatically love yourself. You're living it every day. You don't have to work on that. It's already there. Yeah, because you're someone who is showing is living in integrity. And when you live in integrity, you already love yourself, right? And then you trust yourself. And then when you have a goal, you'll trust yourself to achieve it. But this is a process. It is the sequence of sovereign. If you want to get in the next round, I think it's going to be mid-May. If you want a payment plan, then you have to get on it now, I guess. I think that's okay. Yeah, I don't finance people, but I guess you could pay on it. I don't know what I'm going to do about that, or just save up and come in mid-May. But you could also hear what I'm saying here. Put these things in place. They will change you. They will absolutely change you. You just don't know how to drive this machine, right? This thing that is not just a body. It's not just a mind. It's a spiritual, energetic entity. We have an energetic field, a spiritual self, an emotional body, right, a mental body, and a physical one. And these are integrated. So you can't separate out and work on one thing on the level of the mind or just your body on the symptoms that are coming up. We've got to do it integrated, and that's my approach. And it's very simple. The things I teach you are the core things that clear it and actually give you the right tools for the right root cause, because there's something that people have been missing because they're not bringing the whole thing together and dealing with it at a root cause, right? So if you take anything away from this, just understand that self-love is a byproduct of me being true to myself, and stop analysing and compounding things. Right, where am I compounding thoughts onto emotions that don't need to be there when I just need to let my body be true to the emotion? Where am I resisting my entire reality? Because that's a huge problem. And that brings you away from yourself and into shame and guilt and all the things that actually dissolve your self-love. So I hope that's helpful, guys. Please keep sharing, subscribing and commenting. Please let me know what you'd like more of. Lots of love. I'll speak to you soon.